Welcome to the Manifestation Babe podcast. My name is Catherine Zinkina, and I'm a manifestation expert, master mindset coach, and multiple seven-figure entrepreneur. I'm obsessed with helping you achieve everything that you once thought was impossible. If you're looking to massively up-level your life, your finances, your relationships, your productivity and success, then you have come to the right place. My goal in this podcast is to help you see the infinite potential within yourself to be, do, and have anything that your heart desires. Think of this podcast as your weekly dose of mindset development to help you maximize who you are and where you're going. Leave it to me to provide you with the tools, the resources, the strategies, and teachings that you need to manifest a reality wilder than your wildest dreams. I know we're about to have so much fun together, so thank you so much for pushing play today. And now let's begin. Hello, my gorgeous souls, and welcome back to the Manifestation Babe podcast. Today is going to be one of those story time episodes based on something that I experienced about 2 weeks ago now in Sedona called Kambo. So very appropriately, I named this episode Kambo. That one time I did a frog poison detox. So I've been super open with you guys, obviously, about my own journey of trying all different kinds of different healing modalities for the sake of evolution, for the sake of growth, for the sake of learning, for the sake of discovering myself and really clearing what no longer serves me so that I can create space for what I simply desire in my life. And I've obviously recorded, I think we're at 6 episodes now just on my ayahuasca journey that I did back in December. And I recently did something different, something related called Kambo. And, what's funny about this medicine is that about 2 weeks, right after I did ayahuasca, I remember becoming obsessed out of the blue with Kambo. I've heard about Kambo before, and it was really after we transferred from our hotel in which we did Rythmia, the plant medicine center in Costa Rica, to our hotel, which was like next door, also in Costa Rica, for us to kind of integrate and transition before we fly back to our normal lives in the busy cities spread across the US. And I just remember getting this download of Kambo, like I have to do Kambo. And I didn't even really understand what it was. I knew that my friend, Stephanie Bellinger, a lot of you guys might know her. She is the Spiritual Boss Babe on Instagram. She has done various different types of plant medicines. She's actually the one who even introduced me to the world of plant medicine in the first place. I have never even heard of things like ayahuasca before her. And she has done Kambo before. And for some reason, right after Costa Rica, I became obsessed with it. And so I started doing research on it. And for some reason, I could not stop thinking about it, which, just to give you guys a little bit of a hint, if there's any time there is something that you cannot stop thinking about, it's probably a sign that it's your intuition trying to drop that thing into your consciousness and basically knock on a door, waiting for you to open the door because there is some sort of opportunity. So whenever you can't stop thinking about something, like you can't stop thinking about a certain book, or you can't stop thinking about a certain person and how you need to open a conversation with them, or you can't stop thinking about something like Kambo, it means that there's something here for you. There's a gift inside waiting for you to open it. So as my Sedona trip came closer and closer, my friend Stephanie Bellinger mentioned that she knew people in Sedona who facilitate Kambo. She said, "Hey guys, if you're interested, I know some people and blah, blah, blah." And from that moment, I was like, okay, like to myself, I'm like, okay, I feel like it's time to do it. I feel like I need to do it. even though after doing so much research, I was scared out of my mind. And mainly because Stephanie's actually done it in the past, and she said it was like a whole ordeal. It's very taxing on the body while you're doing it. And she wasn't interested in doing it again anytime soon because she did it 3 days in a row. She said the 20 minutes, because that's all it takes. It's only a 20-minute ceremony, like the actual process, not the ceremony. Ceremony is really long, but the actual process from when the Kambo enters your body to when it leaves is like a 20, 30-minute max process, right? So it's not even that long compared to ayahuasca, where you take the drink and you're in it for 8 hours. But hearing this from her, of course, did not help me, right? So it's funny that we ended up all doing it. But before I move on and lay the foundation of like what Kambo is, what Kambo isn't, the benefits, and really giving you guys a play-by-play, because I know you guys are here for the play-by-play of my story, of my experience, and I'm here to give you every single detail you could possibly want to know to the best of my memory. I want to give a similar disclaimer that I did with my ayahuasca series, okay? So before we move on, let's just get this straight. Let's get the record straight. I am not a medical expert, okay? I am in no position to tell you what to do with your body, nor am I in any position to recommend something like Kambo to you, okay? Even though I will be talking about like whether or not I recommend it, please just understand that comes from my personal experience. It has nothing to do with me understanding you and your body and your decision making and anything like that. So even though this is a legal medicine, which, for instance, ayahuasca is illegal in the US, which is why I did it in Costa Rica, Kambo is actually very unique. It is legal in most countries, right? But it's still not for everyone and can be dangerous if you're not paying close attention to the contraindications as well as any negative effects that it can cause for someone who hasn't done adequate research or decides to do Kambo with a practitioner who is very inexperienced. Basically, all the dangers that come from doing Kambo is usually a practitioner who doesn't know what they're doing, or it comes from you being on a certain medication or having a certain underlying health issue that makes it very hard for your body to process Kambo. So, of course, as always, I always promote doing your own research, making your own choices when it comes to these alternative healing modalities and medicines. Okay, now that that's out of the way, let's lay the foundation of what Kambo is and what Kambo isn't. And when I posted about this on my Instagram, there were so many of you guys like very open to what Kambo is, very excited to hear more about it on the podcast. A lot of you were looking forward to this episode. I had a lot of people who have done it and have shared how amazing of an experience it was for them. And then I had a lot of people who probably did a quick Google search and got a lot of misconceptions, because there are misconceptions, and we're going to talk a little bit about those. And kind of came after me in regards to those misconceptions. And so, of course, I opened it up as an opportunity to educate some people, because I have educated myself on this plant, I can't even say plant medicine because it's not coming from a plant, but this medicine, this healing medicine. And so I want to just carry that through this podcast so you guys understand what is it, what is it not. So Kambo has been named the vaccine of the forest. Okay. And by forest, we're referring to the Amazon forest, for its strong healing properties and ability to clear out every single virus, pathogen, and harmful fungi, whatever you want to call it, and bacteria in the body in a single session. Whoa. So Kambo, what it refers to when we say Kambo, it's a peptide secretion that comes from the giant monkey frog, which is really cute. If you want to Google it, it's green, super cute. I love this frog. I have a special connection to this frog now. And this frog lives in the upper Amazon basin. So Kambo has actually been used as an indigenous medicine for thousands of years before it ever became known in the Western civilization. So as we are here in the Western civilization learning about these powerful medicines, keep in mind that these medicines have been used for literally thousands of years, right? Ayahuasca has been like there's I think there's enough evidence to show that it was used at least 4,000 years ago. And that's just like the written history, right? That's just like the fossilized history. I think they found like some ayahuasca in the ground somewhere that's been dated 4,000 years old. And just keep in mind that it doesn't mean that that was the first time people discovered it. It could be around for tens of thousands of years. Who knows? Right. So, but it hasn't been known by the Western civilization until people started traveling to places like the Amazon and learning from the indigenous tribes and seeing what they use for their livelihood. Like, what do they use to get well when they get sick? And Kambo, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, was discovered in like the 1980s. And there has been a lot of scientific research done on it. And I will share some of the research, like what came out of that research, even though, you know, if you go on Google and you just go to your first like 3 articles, you know how the first page has like all the articles telling you how dangerous it is and all the misconceptions and like how there's not enough scientific research. What is interesting, and I'll share that with you in a second a little bit more, is how much Kambo has been used in Western medicine. So a lot of pharmaceuticals come from a lot of the research that has been done with Kambo. So anyway, the legend goes, like, how did people find it, right? Because there's a story, there's a whole legend behind ayahuasca. So there's also a legend behind Kambo, because how do you just know that this particular frog in the Amazon rainforest has healing properties? Like, how do you find that out? So the legend goes that there's a tribe in Brazil that once got incredibly ill, and their medicine man, and I probably will butcher his name, but I will try my best, Pahe Kampu. He is a medicine man known as a shaman in today's times, who tried everything to cure his tribe. Every single herb, every single plant, every single medicine that he knew of and could think of, he would use, and nothing was working. For some reason, this illness, this disease, it was not leaving. Nothing was helping it. And so one day he took ayahuasca to get answers for what he could do to save the tribe from dying and going extinct. So he used ayahuasca to kind of give him like some clues, some visions. Like he brought that intention into his ayahuasca ceremony, and ayahuasca ended up showing him a frog that produced a white secretion. And that if you apply this white secretion in a very particular way, it will cure them from the illness that they were experiencing. So he thought, you know, I've tried everything. What is the harm in trying another thing? And so he went on to try it, like desperate to try anything, and it freaking worked. So now the legend lives on that when you do Kambo, it's the spirit of the frog, similar to how I shared with ayahuasca. There's a spirit of the plant. There's a spirit of the frog in Kambo, in addition to the spirit of Kampu, the tribesman himself, the medicine man himself, who comes to your Kambo ceremony to aid in the facilitating of the healing. I did not feel a presence personally from, any human being, like a spirit of a human in my ceremony, but I definitely felt the spirit of the frog. Also, fun fact, or not fact, but fun theory, our facilitator who learned how to administrate the Kambo medicine and facilitate the ceremony from the indigenous in the Amazon, he said that there's actually a legend that goes even as far to say that there were many different tribes who all got sick at the same time and who all got the download of Kambo medicine at the exact same time through ayahuasca. So it wasn't just one tribe who discovered it, because if you do your research, you'll find that there's a lot of different tribes who use it, right? And a lot of tribes are pretty isolated from one another. So it's just very interesting to think that that could be a theory as well. And I really like that theory, because knowing like the magic of how this universe works and how often we get very similar ideas to one another, we get very similar downloads at the same time. And having had done ayahuasca and experienced like the same download that 3 other people got in the ceremony, like I could totally see how that happened. The most fascinating part about the Kambo frog to me is, and this is something very interesting to think about, and it just goes to show you the mystery of life and how mystical this medicine truly is. The frog itself, the giant monkey frog, doesn't actually have any natural predators in the Amazon. So it's a very docile creature that is absolutely unharmed by the process of secretion collection. And very little is known about why it even creates a secretion in the first place, because the secretion isn't actually poison. Now, I know I titled this podcast, that one time I did a frog poison detox. I will share with you why people call it a poison, but it's not actually poisonous. The frog has no predators. It has nothing to protect itself from. So the fact that it creates the secretion in the first place is very mysterious, because like other animals that do need to defend themselves and do need to protect themselves and do create toxins and poisons, right? Plants do it, animals do it, certain animals. The Kambo is different in the sense that it doesn't need to protect itself. So it's very, very interesting. It doesn't have any natural predators, and there's actually an abundance of them that live in the Amazon. Now, the reason why people label it as frog poison is because of the way that your body reacts to its intake. And it's a very easy label based on the symptoms that the Kambo entering your body creates. Right? So a lot of what I'm going to be talking about when I share, like, what did I experience? Because I can only speak from personal experience, though. If you Google this, they'll share with you, like, first you're going to feel heat, then you're going to feel this, and you're going to feel that. And it's very, very similar, but everybody still experiences it different. And how most people think that that's your body reacting to poison. However, what is actually happening is these are peptides that are running through your body, and they're causing all your tissues to dump out toxins. So your liver dumps out toxins, your kidneys dump out toxins, everything dumps out toxins into your gut, and then you have to purge that out. And it's the building of the toxins, because when these toxins are hidden in your tissues, you kind of acclimate to them over time. Like when you eat junk food your whole life and then you decide to go on a detox, it's like the most painful thing in the world. You're like, why do I feel like shit? It's because finally your body is feeling what it feels like to not have those toxins in your body, to release those toxins. And then you're clean and clear. And the next time you eat, like McDonald's, for instance, which I don't even know what that tastes like. I haven't had McDonald's in like 20 years, but, like when you eat some fried food or something that's very not good for you, you feel like shit. And you're like, wait a second, how come I didn't feel like shit for the longest time when I was eating this every single day? It's because your body acclimates to it. And so this is your body feeling the effects of all of the toxins dumping into your stomach at the same time. And that's what makes it seem like your body's reacting to poison. But really, like once you purge that out, like through the process of Kambo, you're constantly purging. It's very purgative. It's a detox, right? So as you're purging, you feel that you feel better with every single time you throw up. It's because you are throwing up those toxins over and over and over again until you have none left. A quick thing I wanted to mention, a misconception, is I had a few beautiful souls who are animal lovers telling me that they were concerned about the frog being harmed by the process of Kambo collection. And what I have learned from my own research, as well as speaking to my practitioner and just like thinking about what I know about the indigenous of the Amazon, is that the indigenous of the Amazon are the last people to ever torture animals. If there's anyone who has more respect for Mother Earth, I would say it's the indigenous tribes, right? So they have the utmost respect for the animals because they rely on these animals and various plants for their well-being and medicine. They don't have a pharmacy, right? They don't have access to Western medicine that we do. There's no labs, right? And so they rely on going into the forest and picking out plants and animals for their own health, for their own healing, for their own medicine. So of course they want that to last. They want more and more of it. So they're going to treat it with respect. And the process of Kambo takes about 5 minutes. So literally what they do is they call a song. It's like a specific song. The Kambo frog comes up to the indigenous or the collector or whoever, the tribesman, and sits on a branch. And while it sits on a branch, they just scrape it. They just like take a tool and they just kind of scrape its leg. It's usually on its leg, and then they collect it, they dry it out, and they bring it home. And then the frog is literally released back into the wild. It just hops away. And then every time they sing the song, every single night or however often they collect it, it comes back. Like the same frogs come back over and over and over and over again. And if the frog felt threatened and truly in danger and truly like this process is harming the frog, I don't think that they would keep coming back. You know what I mean? So just something to think about and just something to know and to feel comfortable about is that you are not torturing animals for the sake of spiritual healing. It is a big misconception. Another misconception is that it is a psychedelic. It actually isn't, which makes Kambo unique. There are no psychoactive properties to Kambo unless you are a very open channel. And I would say that our practitioner who was facilitating our ceremony, he said that he's had people straight up see frogs, hallucinate a little bit here and there. And I immediately freaked out because I was like not ready for a hallucinogen. I was like, I did not come here to hallucinate. Like, I just want to learn to ground into my body. I want to do a body detox. And I will tell you that as an open channel, I had a lot of messages come through. I had some visions come through, but it wasn't anything like a psychedelic. So you don't have to worry about that. If you're not ready for that, if you're afraid of that, there is no psychoactive properties to Kambo. Only things that are felt on the physical level. And, you know, because you're going to go through a purge on all different levels, like mental, spiritual, emotional, as well as physical, the purge really is on the physical level. Like, I don't think I really sweat. I don't think I really cried. I just like, and everyone's experience is different, right? So for some people that is their purge. For some people, they purge through their butts. For some people, they purge through their mouths. And for me, it was just like a purge through my mouth. Kambo is also 100% legal in most countries, but you need to check up on the laws in whatever country you're in. And wherever you're listening to this episode, obviously, that's the country you want to Google it in. But the one thing that does make people feel more comfortable about Kambo is that it's legal in most parts of the world, and it's fairly easy to find a ceremony. You would laugh at how easy it is. I found so many in LA after I opened myself up to Kambo, but I really wanted to do it with not only my girlfriends that I trust that we do these crazy things with, these awesome things for the sake of spiritual growth, and healing and wellness and all that good stuff. But also I wanted to have a conversation with the person who's facilitating and making sure that I trust them. And I'm pretty good at reading energy when I talk to people. And depending on what my intuition tells me is how I base my decision making of like, yeah, I feel good about this place, or yeah, I feel good about this person. It really is key, though, to find a facilitator that you trust. There's actually an organization called the IAKP, International Association of Kambo Practitioners, that has a list of practitioners all over the world that are trained to not only safely administer the Kambo, because they go through like an actual school for it, but also do it in a way that's sustainable. So again, like not harming the environment, not harming the frog, ethical, and also gives back to the indigenous. So if these are things you care about, I would definitely go through something like the IAKP. And then also, you know, personal recommendations, just ask around. You'll never know. Who knows someone who administers Kambo. So why Kambo is powerful and what is it used for? Basic question is, Catherine, why the F did you choose to do it? So I really chose to do it for the benefits because the process is no fun at all. Like, it's not something you do recreationally. It's not something you do with your friends. It's not something that you're like, ooh, I'm bored, I want to do Kambo, right? It is really for the benefits that I chose to do it. And so first and foremost, in the indigenous tribes, you know, Kambo is used as a vaccine, like how we have a vaccine here in our Western civilization. They use Kambo as their version of a vaccine because it really is protective and preventative and supposedly treats a lot of illnesses. And also something called what they call bad luck, also known as panema. I think that's how you pronounce it. And panema basically just means like there's a cloud of negative energy following you. And this cloud of negative energy basically manifests, you know, negative things in your reality. And so what Kambo does is it can clear this bad luck away so that you can create space for what you want in life. Kambo is a complete clearing on the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual level without any psychoactive effects. On the physical level, Kambo contains many different peptides that have been linked to being potent painkillers, detoxifiers, immune system strengtheners, hormone balancers. And Kambo is known for clearing, removing, treating, and helping with the following conditions like arthritis, Lyme's disease, addictions, thyroid conditions, chronic fatigue, Parkinson's disease, fibromyalgia, diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety, depression, PTSD, various cancers, fertility problems, HIV, herpes, etc., etc. The fun fact that I wanted to share with you guys is that there were over 70 different patents in Western pharmaceuticals that have come from the peptides in the Kambo frog. So some of the medications that maybe you or someone you love or someone you know who may have taken in the past or maybe are currently taken actually contain synthetic versions of the peptides found in Kambo. However, with pharmaceuticals, for instance, you're taking on the side effects, all the side effects. Like if you ever watched a commercial, I'm sure you have, of a medication, and they say some common side effects are death and diarrhea and seizures and suicidal thoughts and blah, 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 right? Like they talk about all these side effects. Whereas with Kambo, if you just take the Kambo, there are no side effects. Kambo is very much like ayahuasca, in which it has its own intelligence. So like other plant medicines, it will help you clear whatever you need, and often without you being aware of what it's clearing. And it's similar to ayahuasca in the sense that there's a spirit that's basically helping you, assisting you. And I very much felt and had a full-blown conversation with the frog spirit. So yeah, it's definitely there. And I'll share with you guys what it said. And then on the metaphysical level, it resets your chakra system. It cleanses your auric field. It releases traumas from your tissues, reveals your shadow for healing. I definitely spoke with my shadow side. Transmutes negative energy to create space for what you want to attract into your life. And our facilitator himself was very passionate about using Kambo for manifestation in terms of creating space for what you want in your energetic field. Because when you have space, guys, nature abhors a vacuum. You suck all the good stuff in, right? As long as you, after creating space, focus on positive thoughts and positive beliefs and focus on what you want, of course, because if you just go back to the negative habits, negative thoughts, negative beliefs, of course, you're only going to suck up the old, right? So if you want the new, it's very important that you focus on what you want. So what was it like to experience Kambo? Here's where I'm going to share my personal experience. Okay. So let's get into story time, right? So beginning of our Sedona trip, I was the only one who wanted to do the Kambo, but I didn't want to be the only one. And for some reason, I had this agreement with the universe where I said, if there's one or two other people who will do Kambo with me on this trip, I will do it. And so I made that decision right when we got to Sedona. And about day 3 or 4 of Sedona, there was like this crazy synchronistic meeting with a girl named Cassidy at one of the cafes called Chocolate Tree in Sedona. And Cassidy is someone who already was following me. So she immediately knew who I was and we got to know each other. And she also met my friend Ashley Gordon at Manifest with Ash, as well as Jen Casey at Hey Jen Casey at an NLP training about 2 years ago. And so, Cassidy was someone who was diagnosed with Lyme and a bunch of other things, about 2 years ago. And she's been really using plant medicine work and other alternative medicines for her healing, for healing Lyme, for healing other things that she was experiencing, healing mold toxicity and whatever. And she recently moved to Sedona and she was just basically, we're just talking. And, my friend Lauren, who is at I Am Business Babe, she has been very open talking about her recent diagnosis with Lyme. So it was a very synchronistic meeting where Cassidy started talking about how she just did Kambo, or how she has been doing Kambo, for her healing, but also how she just recently did Kambo and how she was doing it again the next day. And if we were interested, she could connect us with a practitioner that she was friends with. And I remember looking at Cassidy and just seeing this glow about her that I couldn't shake. Like she just looks so light and so free and so like there's a zest within her that you just couldn't shake. Like she was just so magnetic. And I think that all of us noticed it because it immediately opened up a conversation about Kambo. And me being the person who did a fuck ton of research on it with Stephanie actually having done it, we of course started talking more about it. And by the end of this day, there were 3 of us who were an F yes. And so we decided to reach out to Cassidy and schedule a private ceremony for the next day. And so 3 of us decided to do it. We had a conversation with a practitioner. He's like, yeah, I can do a private ceremony for you guys. So then excitedly, I was like, guys, can I go first, please? Like, I have to go first. I want to get it over with. And so the other 2 of us, which was Lauren and my friend Stephanie Burgos, who I've talked about before. She was my original mentor. Her handle is at healthyerdoc. They agreed. And then the other girls that were coming, they said that they were going to watch, they were going to support, they were going to be in the energy. And our practitioner said that anybody who comes and, who comes to the ceremony will get some sort of benefit, whether they take it or not. But the funny part about this is that all of us decided to participate and all of us did a full dose, which was so much fun. Well, not fun in the process, but fun that we all got to experience it because the healings and the transformations that we had afterwards were just unreal. So that night, as I'm going to bed, the Kambo spirit came to me right as I was falling asleep. And here's the thing about plant medicine, or here's the thing about healing, or here's the thing about making decisions in your life on an energetic level, is that the moment you make a decision, that thing starts working through you. And so this is often very common when people decide to do something like ayahuasca, they realize that the moment they decide to do ayahuasca, it starts working through them. And the moment, and our practitioner also said this, that the moment we decided to do Kambo, the Kambo spirit's going to start working through us. And so we might experience some healings even tonight, and to take tonight slow and to eat a good meal, a good plant-based meal, no fried food, no dairy, no sugar, just keep it healthy. And so that night as I'm falling asleep, I nervously am sitting in bed and I'm doing more research. I'm like, okay, am I going to survive tomorrow? Is this dangerous? What am I doing? Right? Like my ego really kicked in. And right when I put my phone down, I was like, okay, I'm not doing myself any favors. I agreed that I was going to do it. It feels right. I got all my signs. I literally asked for like 12 signs. I got them all. I'm like, I got all my signs. I'm doing it. This is meant for me. I have to do it. And so I decided to go to bed, and all of a sudden my heart starts pounding. And it starts pounding and pounding. And I'm like, oh my God, am I going to have a panic attack? Like, what is happening right now? Why is my heart pounding? I'm trying to fall asleep. All of a sudden, I feel this heat rise up my body. And I'm like, why am I feeling hot right now? And all of a sudden, I feel electricity going through my veins. And I'm like, what is happening? And I feel so much heat rising to my head. And I remember feeling my ears, and there's like heat coming out of my ears. Guys, I didn't take anything. I'm trying to fall asleep, I'm trying to go to bed so that we could do Kambo the next morning. And I'm literally feeling the effects of Kambo. And I remember immediately getting this download that the Kambo spirit is talking to me and saying, hey, Catherine, can't wait for tomorrow. Just so you know, I'm already working through you to make tomorrow easier. So I'm like, okay, I guess I like that. I mean, how hard is this supposed to be that you have to like do some work on me tonight? But okay, fine, let's see. And so the next day we drove to our meeting spot, which was supposed to be a creek. And we were originally going to do it at 8 a.m. But because the creek was busy when we got there, there was people there. It was 4th of July weekend. So we decided it would be best if it was done in the practitioner's home, which was a huge relief for me because for some reason I felt safer doing it in a home with access to a bathroom, with access to civilization, rather than a creek with absolutely no service. And Cassidy said to us that doing it at the creek is like way more magical than doing it at the house, but it was up to us and our decision. So we decided to do it at the house. And so we came to the house and we were just nervously chatting away, just like waiting while they were setting up because the the little team that we had, the team of facilitators, they were planning on doing it at the creek. So they packed up all their stuff and they really needed to unpack it. So we were waiting for them to do that. And then we talked with the practitioner for about an hour afterwards about any questions we had, any health concerns. It was very important to bring up all of our health concerns and anything that we feel might get in the way of the ceremony. We actually did this the night before, but he was like, any last minute questions, any concerns, we want to make sure that you feel super safe and assured that you're in the right place. And I personally felt so safe in his presence. I felt very safe with his girlfriend. I felt very safe, obviously, with Cassidy. And there was also a musician that was there to play live music for our ceremony, guys. This is like magical. And you could tell that they treated Kambo with the utmost respect, and they're very heart-centered healers here to help. So, I felt really good about the whole thing. And of course, I was nervous. Of course, I was sweating. My palms were sweating. My heart was racing. I was like, what the frick am I doing, right? So the ceremony began, and we first started with our intentions. And we were speaking our intentions into this beautiful feather tool that belonged to the practitioner. It was given to him as a gift, and it was believed to be like an antenna and an amplifier of our intentions. So we walked around we passed it around, and we set our intentions, because intentions are key. Intentions are everything when it comes to not even just plant medicine. Our intentions are key for life. Intentions are setting the foundation behind what we get to experience in our life. So it's very important to set whatever intention it is that you want to experience. So I said, my intention is to ground into my body, to detoxify my body, and to heal my mind, body, and spirit, to bring them back into unison and to bring them back into centeredness. I really wanted to feel grounded. I really wanted to feel safe in my body. And I was using Kambo as a way for me to not only detoxify, but also just feel rooted and not like I'm always floating off somewhere or avoiding my body, which I learned that through my breathwork practices, very often my soul, my consciousness likes to escape my body. For some reason, it doesn't feel safe in my body. And so I really wanted to heal that. And this, of course, comes from like sexual abuse in the past, right? Like we could have all kinds of traumas that cause us to not feel safe in our body. Because one way of coping with trauma as children is to split from our soul, or our soul split from our bodies, or our consciousness to leave and to dissociate from our bodies, right? And so it's very, very common that oftentimes people who don't feel safe in their bodies is because they experience some sort of trauma. And what this plant medicine, or I guess animal medicine, can help you with is to ground you back, because you are much more powerful in the 3D world when you're grounded into your body, when you have your mind, body, and spirit working in unison, than if you're just leaning far into 2 out of 3, right? Some people are very body and very mind, but they don't have spirit activated. And some people are very mind and spirit, but they're not grounded into their body. And so they don't really experience the physical manifestation of their minds and spirits because they're not in their body. So anyway, I digress. Okay. And then like most ceremonies, we did the rapé. And then apparently it's pronounced hape by them and by the indigenous, but at Rythmia, we called it rapé. So this is very similar to like any other ceremony where you prepare your body for the ceremony. And this is one way to prepare your body for the Kambo. And just to give you guys a reminder, rapé is a medicinal tobacco snuff. And it is super powerful for grounding and super powerful for just aligning your chakras and getting your energetic field open and purging your third eye and just ready for whatever it is that you're meant to experience. And let me tell you, I received a very large dose of the rapé, and it took me out of this world. I mean, I felt myself like completely lost somewhere in the ether for just a moment before I had to come back. I'm like, okay, Catherine, come back. I felt myself vibrating at a super high level. My third eye just blasted open and I felt myself just floating off, right? Until I'm like, okay, Catherine, let's come back. Let's come back. Let's come back. And then I remember just with the rapé, looking at the altar. And there were several frogs on the altar. It was a beautiful altar, so many different things. One of them is a frog, or actually there were like 4 or 5 frogs or something like that. And there's one that was closest to me. And it started to speak to me. And it literally said this, you guys, like I'm just quoting this frog, which, you know, is the frog spirit. Hey, Catherine, this is literally what it said to me. Hey, Catherine, I know this is super important for you to know because I know you. We've met before. Maybe not in this lifetime, but we've been longtime friends. I'm your medicine. We love working together. I just want you to know that you're going to live through this experience. You're not going to die, so you don't have anything to worry about. Please enjoy this ceremony. Oh, also, you're super psychic. It's time to own how much of an open channel you are. Literally what it said. And I remember going, okay, gotcha. Good. Well, I'm glad I'm going to stay alive because of course, right? That's always our concern is like, am I going to live through this experience? Like, am I doing something that's going to kill me? And it's so funny that that's what the spirit told me was like, hey, before we begin, I know that you're always thinking like, am I going to survive? And I just want you to know that yes, you will survive. So you have nothing to worry about. And it was so beautiful because that's what allowed me to surrender. So next part, guys, there's like 2 parts before the Kambo. It's a whole shebang. We were 8 hours in ceremony. We thought this was going to be like, 20 minutes here. Okay, bam, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. And we're going to leave. But no, we had to cancel our entire day's worth of stuff that we had planned because we didn't realize the facilitator was like, oh no, you guys are going to be here till like 3 or 4 p.m. And mind you, we started at 8 a.m. So we're like, okay. So the next thing was called Sananga. And Sananga is another common pre/post Kambo and then pre/post ayahuasca plant medicine, except this time Sananga is administered through your eyes. And Sananga is, I think it comes from a bark that is related to another plant medicine called iboga, or Sananga might be iboga itself, but it's administered through your eyes rather than ingested. Okay. And it's also used by the same tribes that use Kambo, and what they use it for. And just so you guys know, what the indigenous also use Kambo for is for hunting. And it's a very powerful hunting medicine because it really sharpens your focus. And Sananga very similarly strengthens your vision. It strengthens night vision for hunting, as well as it's used for spiritual healing. So what Sananga is known for is treating and preventing ocular diseases. It detoxifies your body. It increases visual perception and enhances colors. It also helps clear anger, addictions, depression, and anxiety as well. It resets the energetic field, and it also clears negative energies in the body. Again, like I said, the bad luck called Panema. Now, the Sananga is a very interesting process. Basically, they walk around, they put drops on the corners of your eyes, so with your eyes closed, and then they say, okay, when you're ready, open. And the moment you open your eyes, the Sananga enters your eyes, and oh my God, you guys, it burns so bad. Like, talk about the worst pain I have ever felt. Because you're just, your eyes are so sensitive. So it's not like literally the worst pain I've ever felt, but your eyes are so sensitive. And with your eyes, when they burn, it's so hard to make them stop. Like you just have to let it pass. And then the thing is that the whole challenge with Sananga is that you're not supposed to tense up. The more you tense up, the less effective it is. And the more you just relax and breathe through it, the better it is. And breath work really prepared me for these medicines because through breath work, I learned that through your breath, you can process anything. And so I just let myself breathe and breathe and breathe. And then it only burns for like 60 seconds. And then, kind of burns for another 60 seconds. And then it barely burns another 60 seconds. And then it's done. So it's pretty quick. Now, I will say the first time I thought that it burned. But there was another dose of Sananga coming that I was not expecting to burn even stronger than the first. But first, we did Kambo. So the next thing is we did Kambo. And we walked in and we told our practitioner, we're like, oh, we already have an order of who's going first, second, third, fourth, fifth. And he's like, actually, I choose who goes first. And we never said our order, right? So we never told him our order. He just said, I will choose who goes first based on the energy of the group. We're like, okay. And I guess he heard my intention because the next thing I know, he was handing me the cassava. Now the cassava, so there's two schools of thought. One of them is that you would drink cassava, which is a starchy root vegetable, basically blended in water. It has kind of like this watery mashed potato, not taste, but texture at least. And the cassava is supposed to be a toxin binder so that the combo is easier to process, so that you don't feel as nauseous or feel as horrible as you do with the other school of thought that believes that you just need to drink a ton of water, like 2 liters of water, you just down, right? You just drink it all at once, and then that fills up your stomach and allows the toxins to collect into the water, and then you purge. But the thing is that with water, there are no binders, so you feel all of this toxin dump. And with the cassava, it is not supposed to be as painful. So I really appreciated that he came from the school of thought that uses the cassava. So he hands me the cassava and I go, oh my God, I'm going first. Holy shit, I'm going first. Holy shit. Okay. All right. Oh my God, this is happening. Okay. All right. And, the practitioner, Cassidy, was there helping, and the practitioner's girlfriend came to me with the combo. They sat next to me and I just started sweating, you guys. Like I was just like panicking mildly, right? Trying not to show it. And I remember asking them, I'm like, okay, my heart's already pounding. Is that okay? Like, am I gonna, is something going to happen where my heart races so fast that I just like die, right? And they're like, no, it's actually less normal. It's actually worse if you're not nervous, because if you're not nervous, then you're not here for the right reasons. Meaning that if you're nervous, you have a respect for the medicine. If you're nervous, you know that this is some work to do. If you're nervous, you know that there's healing coming. If you're not nervous, then either you are super ready for it, which most first timers don't know what to expect, so of course they're nervous, or you're not here for the right reasons, right? So they're like, of course it's fine to be nervous. And I could just feel the frog spirit telling me to relax. So how Kambo works is basically they take like this stick, and I would say it looks like the back of an incense stick. So if you have incense, you know how there's like a wooden stick, it's a very thin stick that they heat up with a flame. And then with this heat, they poke it into your skin. And what it does is it leaves a burn. And so and what this burn does is it opens up access to your lymphatic system, because Kambo is never ingested or put directly into your bloodstream. It only works through your lymph. Otherwise, it can be dangerous, right? Like I've heard, like if you ingest it, you can die. If you put it in your bloodstream, something else happens. But if it works through your lymphatic system, it's very safe. And so through these burns, basically they put the Kambo. It's like, so think of the white secretion, right? It's like this white powdery liquid that's a little thicker in consistency. So it's kind of like a clump that they put on each of the points. And they asked me like, do you want it? Where do you want it? Because traditionally it's on the right leg for a woman. And traditionally for men, it's put on the left arm, but my right arm for some reason was twitching really bad. And they say like, sometimes if you have like a certain thing you want to work through, or you have like a muscle that doesn't feel very good, or you have like sciatica or anything like that, you want to place it in those areas so the Kambo can directly affect that area first. And so I was like, you know what? My arm is twitching. I don't know why. Maybe that's a sign that it needs to be put on my right arm. So I said right arm. And so Kambo starts working the moment that it touches the burn, the spot, the point. They call it points, right? So at this time, they put 5 points. And they say, they never know how many points you need until it starts working through. And the practitioner, if the practitioner is very connected to the medicine, they can just read your energetic field and tell you how much you need. And then they just kind of watch you and watch how the spirit works through you, watch how the medicine works through you based on how you're reacting to it. And then they'll either take off some if it's too much, or they will put some more on if it's not enough. Okay. And as soon as they put it on, it works. Like it works within seconds. And the entire process takes about 20 minutes. And because there's 6 of us and we have the Sananga, we have the Rapé, we had the Q&A session, we had the intention setting, it's literally, we were in ceremony for 8 hours. So they placed 2 of the points in my arm. And they said that, they put 2 points and then they wait for like 2 minutes. And then based on how you react, they put on more. And what's funny, you guys, is that the moment they put 2 points on me, I started feeling electricity, the same electricity running through my veins, the exact same electricity I felt the night before. Then I felt heat. Oh, no. The next thing I felt is my heart started to pound. And it was like louder and louder and deeper and faster and boom, 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 boom. And they say that your heart rate could go up to 190 beats per minute. I wouldn't say my heart felt like it was going any faster. I felt like it was just getting louder and deeper. Like somebody took my heart out and put a drum instead, right? Like they replaced my heart with a drum. And this lasted about 2 minutes. So your blood pressure rises, and then it falls. And then afterwards, your heart rate kind of stabilizes, your blood pressure stabilizes. So you don't feel that kind of like anxious beating, right? It's kind of scary for some people because you're like, oh my God, is my heart going to beat out of my chest? No, as long as you just surrender to it, wait 2 minutes, it should go away. And then you feel heat rising up to your chest, into your face. And a very common symptom of doing Kambo is to feel your face swell up, because that's a common symptom. But I felt no pressure in my head whatsoever. I was getting ready to feel pressure in my head. Your throat can kind of swell, but it never swells shut. And no, it's not anaphylactic shock like some people think it is. Like some people end up looking like a frog because their face just swells. It's like a toxin swell before it flushes out. But I didn't feel any of that. But what I did feel is I started to feel the nausea start to build and build and build and build. And how I would describe the feeling through my body is like a discomfort. I didn't feel pain. I just felt very uncomfortable. And when the nausea becomes unbearable, you have a bucket next to you and you just purge. And you want to keep drinking water through the process because you want your stomach to be full. And the fuller your stomach is, the easier, of course, it is to purge. Because if you have nothing to purge and if you have nothing for the toxins to go in, then you just have like toxins in an empty stomach. And that just sounds like hell, right? So I purged and I immediately felt a sense of relief. And then the practitioner comes and he's like, okay, you're ready for 3 more points, right? And this happened, guys, within the first 2 minutes. And so they put 3 more points on me and then the process begins again. The thing about Kambo is that you never feel it as intense as the first wave. So it comes in waves, and each wave has a lower peak than the first one. So by wave, I mean the building and the building and the building until it becomes unbearable, and then you purge. Build, 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 purge. Build, 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 purge, right? So that's what I mean by wave. And so they say like it's never going to peak to the same intensity again because your body's already acclimated to the medicine. So even if they keep putting more medicine on, you're just going to feel it last longer, but it's never going to be as intense. However, even a little bit of discomfort, you guys, for 30 minutes sucks, right? So it's not like it's enjoyable at all, but you just surrender. You get used to the process, you surrender, and and this really helped me, is I kept thanking the frog. I kept thanking the medicine. I'm like, thank you so much for healing me. And I was very proud of my body for handling something like this. And I remember they put 5 points and it was started building again. And then I remember feeling very in my body and very grounded than I ever felt before. And the message that came to me, because I started getting messages after the first purge, was this is how good it feels to be in your body. It feels so good to be here on planet Earth. And that was like my intention of grounding into my body. And I remember looking at all the other girls, because again, guys, everyone was watching me, right? We went basically one at a time. We were kind of stacked, like they kind of stacked us. Like when one was finishing up, the next one would go. When that girl was finishing up, the next one would go. And so I went first. And so, they're still watching me. And I looked at them and I smiled and I said, guys, this is fucking amazing. Kambo is my medicine. And they just all bust out laughing. And I remember grabbing my wand that I made at a crystal shop the day prior and just like slamming it on the ground in front of me like it was a staff and letting out this primal grunt / scream like, ah, like I don't even know what I let out. And, the practitioner is also like watching me and smiling at me like, oh yeah. And he came up to me and he said, hey, What did he say? He said, "Hey, your prana is really strong and the Kambo really loves you. And it seems like you guys are old friends," which is so funny because I didn't tell anyone that that's what the frog told me. So it was interesting that he picked up on that. And he said, "My body is doing so well, so they're going to put more on me." And I remember going, "More? Okay, like I'm here to surrender, sure." And so they put 3 more points on me. So they went through like while I have 5 on me, they put 3 more. And then I felt it build again. And then I purged. And then I went through the process of discomfort again. And with this second purge, I felt like I was really purging like mental and emotional things because I was like screaming into the bucket. I was like hurling. I was like grunting. It was not just a purge because I felt nauseous. It was a purge because something was leaving my consciousness. And after this, the practitioner comes up to me again and he said, "Hey," he's like whispering this in my ear. He's like, "Hey, thanks so much for surrendering. Thank you so much for trusting me. Thank you so much for trusting the frog. Thank you for trusting the medicine. You're doing so amazing. We all just had a talk and we think you need way more. So we're going to put some on your back." And I just remember looking at him and I'm like, do we have to? Like, I'm already so uncomfortable. Like I was very proud of myself for handling it to this level, but I don't know like how many more you're going to put. He's like, "Don't worry. We're just going to put 3 or 4 more on your back." And I'm like, "What?" And, I was like, "Do I have to?" And he just looked at me and then whispered in my ear. He's like, "Hey, you're not here for some bullshit healing, are you? You said you came here to purge. So let's just make it the best healing you've ever had." And I was like, "Okay, I'm here for it, sure." And of course, like my ego was like, "Fuck no," right? But my higher self was like, "No, no, no, Catherine, you're ready for this." So I agreed and I said, "Okay, I'm ready." And he came back ready to put 3 or 4 more points on me. And then he looked on my arm and realized that 2 of my points slipped off. And when they're not on the points, the Kambo doesn't work, right? So it's a very on and off type of medicine. There's a on switch and an off switch. So it doesn't stay in your body once it's off the points. And because it's a frog, it requires water. So they keep spraying it with water throughout the ceremony. And if it dries out, it also stops working. So it's not like something that enters your body and stays in there for like hours. It's just as long as it's on your body, as long as it's on the burns, on the points, it's going to work. And as soon as it's off, it's not going to work. So he was like, "Oh," he whispered in my ears again. He's like, "Hey, I was going to put some more on, but I realized that 2 of your points slipped off. And so we're going to put the points back on. And, like we'll see how it goes." And so they moved it back. And then they saw me like reacting to it again. They're like, "Okay, that's why. Here we go." So I stayed with my 8 points. And apparently 8 points is a lot of points. Ashley, my friend Ashley, she had 9 points. I think the average was like 6 points. And I think that a lot of grown men can barely handle 4. So it's very interesting how different doses work for different people. So then I purged my 3rd and final time. I let out another primal grunt into my bucket and it was like nothing I've ever experienced before, even with ayahuasca. Just like what I was purging was just on a deeper level than I've ever experienced before. And again, as I already mentioned, I just kept thinking the frog and I just felt so held and so loved. I really wanted to tune into this unconditional love. And I felt so held and so loved by this like very gentle, loving, compassionate spirit who wanted me to be well. And I felt so proud of my body for going through such an ordeal and for coming out stronger on the other side. And I actually pulled a card before we started the process. And the card was all about being a feminine warrior. And that's exactly what I felt through the process. And I actually loved every single second of it. And as soon as my points got wiped off, I remember thinking to myself, "Oh, hell yeah, I would do it again." Like if we had time, if other people were down, I would probably do it again because you can do it back to back up to 3 times. Yeah, I know some people are crazy like that. Or you could do it 3 days in a row and that's considered like the Kambo reset. But even doing it once is powerful on its own. So then I got the points wiped off. I lied down and then my whole body just started to shake and shiver. And I remember looking at the practitioner and I was like, what does this mean? And he's like, oh, don't worry. Because I said, I'm not cold. Why am I shaking? And he said, oh, it's Kundalini energy getting activated. It's just running through your spine. And I remember being like, oh, okay, that's awesome. Sure. And then I went into a deep meditation and just felt blissed the frick out. Like my body felt so clean. It felt so clear. It felt like I was just reborn. And then because I was first, I got to watch and I got to support the other girls through the process. And some of them had an easier time like me. Some of them were like smiling. I'm not going to say who is who because I want to respect their own journeys and how they want to share it. But some of them were like smiling and laughing through the whole process. And some of them are really struggling to purge and really struggling to let go. But for all of us equally, it was just as profound. And all of us were like, hell yeah, we would do it again. And then after the combo, once everyone is done, we did the Sananga again. And just to remind you guys, the Sananga is the eye drops. But this time, holy hell, it burned. I think it's because we were so clear that the Sananga was able to go on a deeper level because I literally thought it was bad the first time. No. It was like way more painful than the combo and the first round of Sananga and the Rapé combined. But again, it only lasts like 60 seconds, not even. It's just like the peak is right away. So the moment you feel it, it burns, and then it slowly starts to taper off. And then we had live music. So there was singing, there were drums, there were different instruments, and we just blissed out to the live music for about 30 minutes. And then ceremony ended. And we did an integration process because everything's in the integration where we shared what we learned. And then the practitioner told us how Kambo works very similarly with other medicines where 50% of the work is done in ceremony while 50% of the work is done at home. And he said, if things are going to come up for you, just know it's the combo bringing them up for healing. And this is what I always tell my students, like when you enter my courses are very similar to this process where a lot of things are going to come up and they're coming up for you to be healed. So what did I learn from this process, right? The most profound learning that I got this time from this particular medicine was to surrender and how rewarding it was to surrender and how powerful it is to just sit there and just let the magic do its thing and let the healing just take care of itself and just breathe through whatever it is that you're working through. And I realized that I was led to breath work to do a lot of this surrendering and how if I can breathe through my worries and breathe through discomfort and breathe through pain and breathe through challenges, like I can do anything. And I have everything within me to take care of myself and to heal myself. And my body is so powerful. The other profound learning that I captured from the combo process was the following download. And I made a post on this. So this might be familiar because you've probably read it before if you read my combo post. But if not, this is something that just was the most profound thing that has stuck with me ever since then. And it's been 2 weeks and it's just so loud in my mind. And it really helped me get down to a deeper layer of not giving a fuck what people think of me. And a deeper layer of not leaking my power away to people who simply don't even take the time to get to know me, right? The people who just judge me for what they see on social media or judge me for what they hear in one podcast. And I'm just like in this space where I just don't give a fuck. And I think it's because of this particular lesson that I learned in the combo ceremony, which is this. No one, and I wrote this down, no one knows me the way that I know myself in these ceremonies, where I walk through darkness, through tunnels with seemingly no end, face my demons, send love to my shadows, and come out the other side stronger and free from the shackles that tie me down. No one knows me the way that I know myself in these ceremonies. And even yet, I don't know myself fully yet. And I am here to keep learning and keep remembering who the F I am. And I'm telling you guys, this took me to so much of a deeper layer where I just, things have come up because Kambo brings them up. All of us have had stuff come up and we kind of laugh about it like, oh, stirring the pot, stirring the pot. Like things are coming up to be healed. And I have had things happen since my Kambo ceremony where, someone would say something or send me a DM or I would learn something about, what was said about me or any judgment that has come my way. And unlike before, where I used to feel this like trigger or a twinge of negative emotion or let it kind of knock me off my rocker, I've just been letting things roll off my back. It's like I have become Vaseline or something and people just slide off of me. And I feel grounded into who I am and more than ever before, right? I just feel grounded and rooted and centered. And just knowing that like I am the only one who walks with myself in these ceremonies. Like when I'm facing my shadow side, it's just me. When I'm doing the inner work, it's just me against me. When I face my demons, it's just me, right? No one knows me the way that I know myself. No one has ever even taken the time to do the background check, right, on my life in the way that I have, right? No one knows the traumas that I've lived through, the things that I faced in the way that I do. And that's the lesson that I really want to carry on and share with you guys, is that nobody knows you the way that you know yourself. Nobody knows you the way that you have handled challenges before in your life. No one knows who you've been through, what you've been through. No one actually knows you. And the thing beyond that is that we don't even know ourselves. And we come into this lifetime to learn, to relearn, and to remember who the F we truly are. And that's the lesson I got. And I've been living with this lesson ever since. It's been like medicine to my soul. And regardless of whether you do something like Kambo or plant medicine in general or not, I just hope that you guys are getting the transmission of this. My intention is that my podcast or anything that I teach or anything that I share or write isn't just my words. It's not just words you're hearing. It's an energetic transmission through this microphone and into your ears, right? Through whatever speaker you're listening to me on. It's an energetic transmission where you are getting the knowings that I am passing on to you, right? That's my intention. That you also learn to just let things roll off your back. That you don't take anything to heart. That you remember that people, the more that you grow spiritually, the more you become a mirror. And the more people will project things on you. The things that have been projected on me in the last 2 weeks have been unfreaking believable. Like the old version of myself would want to hide off of social media. Just the DMs, the cruel DMs that I've received, the judgmental DMs that I've received. I'm like, where the frick is this coming from? And I've been talking to a lot of my friends who have been doing this inner work for a really long time. And they all agree with me that the more that you evolve, the more you become a mirror, the bigger mirror you become. It's not necessarily like you're a target, right? Because that has like a negative association with it. You're not a target. You're just a mirror and you're just reflecting more and more of the things that trigger other people about themselves, right? And they just see it within you because you've become this mirror. And as the more that you become a light, and the bigger light that you become, the less the darkness can handle being next to you without doing its own healing, without being illuminated. And so it's completely normal. And that's kind of where I am at. And I have some podcasts like coming your way based on this inspiration of how to really not give a fuck about what people think of you and some more lessons that I've learned in regards to that. So I'm excited to share more of this with you guys. So, the last part that I want to leave you with this episode is, do I recommend Kambo? So for the right person, absolutely. But again, this is not recreational and your intention with it always matters. And it's important to do it with someone you trust in a ceremonial setting where the medicine and the practice is respected and honored on a very, very deep level. And because I know so many of you will ask, who I recommend. I asked permission from Cassidy, so I am going to put her Instagram into the show notes. Feel free to reach out to her. She agreed that she would be the connector to anyone who happens to pass through Sedona and wants to work with a trustworthy practitioner there. But again, if you're not in Sedona, a simple Google search will lead you to someone as well. So again, you can find this in most countries. It's legal in most countries, or you can go to a country where it's legal once we're out of quarantine, right? If it's not just a quick drive away from you. So there's that. All right, you guys, I hope you loved my wild journey. This includes another sacred medicine podcast. Let me know what you guys think. As always, I love your feedback by screenshotting this, tagging me on Instagram, and sharing it with anyone who you think could benefit from this episode. And as always, I am giving away a free manifestation hypnosis for anyone who leaves a review on iTunes for this podcast. You guys, we hit the top 20 podcasts in the education category over the last few months, and it's because of your reviews. So thank you guys so much for sharing it with your friends, with your audiences. Thank you so much for your tags. Thank you so much for sharing this podcast. If this episode you think is beneficial to anybody you know, as always, I appreciate you sharing it. All right, you guys, until the next episode, bye. Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. If you absolutely loved what you heard today, be sure to share it with me by leaving a review on iTunes so that I can keep the good stuff coming your way. If you aren't already following me on social media, come soak up the extra inspiration on Instagram by following @ManifestationBabe or visiting my website at manifestationbabe.com. I love and adore you so much and can't wait to connect with you in the next episode. In the meantime, go out there and manifest some magic.